So a little bit inside. What are we thinking about the maps that we've got here?
Yeah, well, I do think actually we have those map picks and bans coming in, so we can take a look at those right now. And I'm excited. We were talking a little bit in the green room earlier. Of course, like we said, we have two really good teams here. Um, Planet of the Apes and Return of the Sentinels. And looking at those map picks and bans come through, it looks like we are going to end up on Bind Abyss. And then, of course, if we make it to game 3, it'll be going back over to Haven. And what's really interesting here, Rue, is actually Planet's going to be starting on attack all 3 maps.
Oh, that is interesting, and I could tell we're definitely gonna get a taste of how that's gonna play out in the first game. Especially throughout yesterday, we saw that it became really obvious who was better on which side and which came through more dominant. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this plays out, especially considering they're starting on those sides.
Well, I think we won't have to speculate too much longer. It looks like we might be ready for agent select. It looks like the teams are in the lobby. And yeah, I'm excited. We were talking about Bind specifically, actually, right before we came in here. And I know, Rue, you were saying some of the agents you like to play here on Bind and what can make it fun. And we'll kind of see. It looks like those locks starting to come in pretty quickly here, at least over on the side of Planet.
Definitely, and it's looking like for Syntinels, Syntax is going for the Cypher Lock, which is, it's a pretty generic pick for Bind, but a great one. Like, I'd love to see how that plays out throughout this map, especially. And it's looking like there's a ISO in Europe. We're looking like we could have a potential triple duel, quad duels
And
playing
maybe
here.
already
I,
doubles locked in. Looks like they're thinking a little bit better about that one. Maybe not quite, but it could have been fun to just see them run it down. But remember, they're not starting on attack here though. So it seems
no.
like Planet kind of had in mind the comp they want to run. We're looking at pretty similar comps here across the board. I'm excited to see the difference that Deadlock's gonna make here over on the side of the attackers. And of course, we do have that double duelist here with the Reyna. Um, so yeah, I mean, I do think it's going to be a case of double duelist versus double sentinel. And I'm excited, especially I think Deadlock has been getting a lot more play recently. When she first came out, it seems like people were a little hesitant to pick her, but in like the pro play T2 scenes, we've been seeing a lot more Deadlock, and I'm excited. I think she's definitely a fun agent.
Definitely. I'm honestly really looking forward to see how this plays out. Especially as you said with these initiative center Senti picks. But yeah, I'm honestly really looking forward to see how we're getting off an attack.
Well, looks like
Check. Yeah.
don't have to wait too much longer. Still not sure, but it looks like they are going to elect a full stack and just push aside. I think this might be a B hit, which will be interesting. You'll be running into a little bit of the Cypher setups, but you can see that over on A. Couple setups there as well. Only a Reyna and a Cypher here on site. I don't know that they realize how quite free it is, but
This and the dog already on site, and wonder if they know that Syntax is sitting right there. It's already a
that's a
first
beauty.
contact.
Oh,
That's a great, and that's two there. It all happened so fast, so it's still looking like a 2v2. I'm not quite sure they have the site control they want though here.
good flick from nobody here now.
Chloe walking up. Now rotating round. It seems like they've made that rotation around to A.
We're able to make their way on site, but the problem is when you're in this numbers disadvantage, there's so many angles you have to check.
Yeah, and nobody is low. There isn't too much HP there, so it maybe isn't as much of a 1v2 as we think it is. Chloe just has to manage to pull this off. With two nades too. And unluckily, around the corner, Phenom just knew she was there.
Unfortunately for Kalo and the rest of the defenders, not going to be that first pistol round going towards them, but that's okay. Still early in the game. What I'm really excited though about now is that regen shield. Kind of newer, and we're kind of kind of start to see how that fits in when you talk about like what do you buy second round. And we can see 3 regen shields coming out and Phenom pulling out that rifle early. It's gonna be tough when you only have pistols to deal with, but then again, you know, if you can get that rifle out of hand, pick it up.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if this is going to be an aggressive push, considering they've opted for that rifle pick here. And they're fully committing to this site, so I'm wondering.
Defenders did make the right call to stack a site, but unfortunately with only pistols in hand, it's a little bit harder to do some damage, but Syntax is going to find one.
Nobody.
One enemy remaining.
Once again, all down to Chloe.
In showers once again. Not entirely sure there if maybe it was the gun advantage that had them or if it was just a really great aggressive push there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say they the defenders there did make the right call to full stack that A site, and that's typically how you see these early rounds of Valorant go, right? You win the pistol, you win the next one because you can buy up, especially if your opponents, like they should, are full saving. But I will say, you know, they were able to get 2 weapons offline and now into their bonus. Planet doesn't have those. And so I'm kind of the opinion, any damage you can do on a save is good damage. You found 2 weapons.
Already.
Good pick, though.
They've already got that shower control, which is really great this early in the round. What you can see is every round, they've had that really early Skydog out. They've just been really great at getting that information on for them before they push onto that site.
Phenom with the early ultimate, not gonna find any impact in Mew. Gonna be able to trade that out. Good blind though from Krona.
This isn't looking like the brightest of starts or to the game for Syntinels here, but I'm wondering if this is gonna be how it's gonna play out the next few games with them having to start out this way, or if they're really gonna pick up the pace and learn the lesson on how aggressive they're playing these sites. But it is looking like we're going for a B push.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit unfortunate here for the defenders. Again, that means they're put on a late buy, not able to win their buy-up, and economy looking like shambles if they can't really get a thrifty here. A couple more rounds go by and Planet suddenly...
And Chloe's heard them. And it's looking like they're already making that rotation round to B, knowing that they're long. It's just great to have that information. It just depends if they can sense that nobody's there to...
Well, looks like they know now with that cam.
Yeah, they know now. Just wondering to see if they check this corner and see Chloe's there. Possible first contact pick here. Could be a really
Beautiful
great
shot.
pick there from Chloe, yeah.
Numbers
And
advantage.
has been one of their aggressive pushes and getting that pick. So that could have been a really detrimental pick off there. And a really great one from Chloe to get off, especially this early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, return of the Syntinels do have man advantage here, but they don't have those weapons, so Krona able to easily clean that out, and these shots coming through here from Planet. Going to be hard to deal with when you only have a stinger in hand. Chloe finds another. That was a weapon recovered by Chloe, but that... Ooh.
Nade doesn't quite hit exactly where they wanted to.
That's definitely tough. You're in this 2v3, but only one weapon in hand for Chloe. Mew still working with that Sheriff. Lots to clear out. You're now working against time. Bomb is down. Not a lot of HP.
With Mew so low, it's looking like it's just going to be up to Chloe. And they lose that rifle too.
They're not checking though. Mew with just a stinger, gonna find one, picks up a weapon, finds a second one, but time is ticking.
A very well thought out save, I think, there. I mean, I know it's probably not what they wanted there, but the gun is something that they really do value at this point, especially with the lack of funds there, and it's looking like it's gonna be a rifle by Sentinels, and so this could be a lot more hopeful for them this side now that they've got that gun advantage back.
Yeah, I mean, it was promising. I think they did a really great job, especially given the state of their economy and their loadouts last round. But, unfortunately, weren't able to do it. But then again, remember that round 3, they had those rifles and couldn't convert that round. So they really need to win this one because look at the economy over for the side of Planets. It's not looking too bad. But at least they were able to bring 4 weapons out of hand last round. At least if you're not going to win the round, you can do some damage to the economy.
And they do have 3 ults on their side this time. There's a couple ultimate advantages. I'd love to see them reap the benefits of this round.
It's like with the shots coming out, starting to know that they're over here on B.
Muse looking a little bit taken down. And a 3v3, but Phenom's looking pretty low. If they can just manage to pick them off, that gives them the man advantage. And this is looking like a better round for them, just if they can manage to defend as aggressively as they need to. That's a great pick-off right there, exactly as we said. Picking Phenom off and getting that man advantage is really going to give them that advantage there. And that's a great... I really was looking forward to seeing them get that round back there. But no, it definitely was interesting to see them come into themselves with the rifles. I was hoping that those guns would give them a little bit of a better play throughout that round. And it definitely did. I think they definitely got more of a sense of a vibe for it. They were quick rotating, and that definitely gave them the round.
Well, finally, Return of the Syntinels on the board. A little bit of a pricey round. Return of the Syntinels. Or at least finally make their mark on this game. Still 1-4 and can't quite afford a full loadout. Maybe that they wanted. Gale still rocking that Bulldog, but still a strong rifle to have in hand. But because of that kind of buildup of momentum that the Planet of the Apes have had, still full weapons in hand for them as well.
And they're rotating. They know that B again. Muse already making that early rotation. Still with Chloe and Egg is left in sight.
Refreshing.
50 making showers. Just down a man. Maybe a kill they didn't really... it wasn't really worth them taking that fight in showers for Syntinels. But, that man down advantage for Apes is definitely something that they're utilizing, getting picks that early.
Good utility usage here.
If Synthix can just get this play exactly how it's set up, then it's going to be
30 seconds left.
unfortunate.
One enemy remaining.
But we're still up. And a 4K for Gale. They really are returning.
They're returning.
It's
It's the return. Return of the Syntinels.
Their feet now.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it takes a little bit to warm up and to kind of get a feel, especially for how your opponents are playing. And like we said, I mean, both of these teams, they want it. There's bragging rights on the line, and of course, whoever wins this series is going to be moving on to the grand finals later tonight. So, yeah, I think sometimes it's just reading your opponents and figuring it out, and they were able to do just that.
Definitely. And considering these teams haven't been together long, they were made together, most of them have just started playing for this tournament. A lot of them are new playing together, so it's really interesting to see who's meshing well and who isn't exactly playing well off of each other.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it does. And nobody's already liking showers. Well, entirely. Very, very quiet A side and don't seem to be playing too aggressive on defense.
We've kind of seen this lurk come out from nobody, and it worked the first couple rounds, but then started to see it not go their way. A little bit of a slower push here from Planet, but now it looks like starting to make their way here, make their presence known on B after losing one.
30 seconds left.
Don't know they know where Cloak quite is. Managed to think they've gathered that they're rotating A. Cat and Gale are already pushing around for heaven.
Oh, but Synthix has a huge flank here up through showers.
With only 7 seconds to get the spike down. I don't know if they'll have the time.
Oh, yeah, there's no time. Unfortunately, a little bit too late there.
But sometimes you just have to play it like that. You know, it's obviously not exactly what we want to see. You know, casting and it being exciting, but sometimes just running down the clock like that, it works. And I mean, it did there. And, you know, return of the Syntinels, you know, they're returning.
They're returning.
They're
They're returning.
And Synthix especially, the last, you know, you say the Syntinels, it's a play on words, but, you know, the lurks going on is really helping them out, and just being there, I think they're getting a little bit nervous under the pressure, especially Cypher's such a great agent on this map because, as you said, like, he just can lurk and can get those, you know, picks that you don't quite expect.
Yeah, I think Cypher's such a good sentinel. Lots of information given, and the fact that you can have your setups kind of across the map, huge. I love the use of utility from both, but Phenom able to make their way on site. That's going to be a Clove ultimate expended, but can't quite get the gun out in time. And now, return of the Syntinels, or could it be their fall? Going to have to be a 2v5 retake, and with that Cypher ult, they know exactly where these two are coming from. All down to Chloe and Cat. Find one?
Phenom picked off, yeah. With the deadlock sensor, they know exactly that they're pushing behind back site now. It's just if they can manage to pick them off from the site, this is really where they need to start getting a little bit more aggressive and pull this off. The deadlock doesn't quite hit. That's quite a I mean, they pulled it off, but missing the deadlock ult is quite detrimental. That's one of the best ults in the game, arguably, at the moment. But they still put it off. I think that really early aggressive push from Phenom there, clearing back site, that immediately picked off 2 of their players, really gave them the site control that they wanted there.
Yeah. Definitely did, and finally, you know, I think the return of the Syntinels have had a pretty good run, kind of figured things out, but playing of the Apes back on the board again. It's going to be Synthix holding A short here with an op, but playing it not going towards A. Trades coming out from both sides. But it's going to be playing into the Apes, who now have sight. Bomb is planted, but
opping backside as well. It's going to risk these picks. Getting 2. Is he going to manage to pick these off? No. Hunt is still defending the site, getting 3. Almost. Almost. But not quite.
Man.
Planet of the Apes don't quite ape as hard as they wanted to right there. Needed a little bit more.
Yeah, honestly, though, that was pretty close. It really just came down to Synthix with the op, and then I don't know why you would re-peek an operator when you knew where it was. Especially if you're Corona, you have a flash. You have a flash. I'm just saying, no need to dry peek, but the op back in hands of, well, Chloe this time. Don't want to be peeking that. You know the op is still in play, and that makes your time as an attacker a little bit harder. But if you have numbers,
definitely
you don't line up.
And especially as a Razor ping, I don't know if that's just a little bit unusual. Out of all the agents you would see opping, especially on bind, you'd usually want your raids moving and clearing back site, but with the off, I'm interested to see what kind of picks and plays we're playing here.
I think it makes it easier at least to op as a raise on defense, but you're right, as an attacking agent, when you need that mobility, that's kind of the core of your kit there.
Definitely.
But that operator not going to find anyone because they're not going A. It looks like it's a B hit. And
We're
Cat.
already down on
Oh, Cat
Apes.
hears.
oh, quite a few. It seems like Syntinels managed to pick off a
One
few.
enemy remaining. Spike down.
Corona not
attacker
quite
spawn.
managing to find the kill.
Flawless.
Kate there. And nor does Hunter. Syntinels making a pretty great comeback here from, you know, down 0-3, bringing it back 5-5. It's looking promising if they can just manage to keep this aggressive hold, and Close still has the op in play.
And that's scary when you consider, like, that last round, op didn't even have any impact, didn't see anybody. It came down to a Synthix 3K and then good positioning by the rest of the team to finish that out. Things looking really, really good here for the Syntinels, and Synthix with a good camera position sees them coming up here towards showers.
And that's really,
calm to the
really
team.
important to have that early shower information. With the early flash on sight, nobody quite able to find a kill yet. Oh, Chloe picking off nobody, and Synthix managing to get that pick on Phenom too. That's really, really huge for defense.
Ooh. Not quite where you wanted
And
to go, but
Synthix
that's
finding
okay.
another
Good
one.
news there.
Synthix with the 4K
Synthix.
on sight. Wow. Synthix really making that his sight there. That was really a Cypher masterclass we just saw straight there. But nobody quite managing to pick them off.
Listen,
and
when
Close
I
still has that up.
when I play bind, if there's a Cypher on site, I'm going other side of the map.
I'm running
Way,
away.
way to the other side.
I'm not pushing a Cypher like that exactly because of that. You know, with the trips, and especially when they have that early information with the cam placement, it's almost impossible to find a way to move on the site without them knowing exactly who and what you're doing there.
Well, it looks like they might be pushing right back into the Cypher once again. They saw Cypher. Will they choose to
Synthix
keep
is
pushing?
there.
Looks like they're going to elect to keep pushing. Oh, good. Good use of utility. That ult missed, but that's okay. They can re-push that, and the beauty of having a Sky is that you can just heal your teammates up. Numbers now, finally, on the side of playing into the Apes. Spike's
Corona
planted,
is
and
low,
ooh.
and nobody finding Kate.
He still has the op in play, but Swifty gonna
knows
take
them
that
either.
out.
Finding the second there too is Swifty with the 3K. Touched the round for them. Going 6-6 still. It's
Switching
looking like
sides.
a really, really even game. I'm honestly not entirely sure who I have my money on, but you know, I've been told that Synthix team here are one of the most scrimmed teams in the tournament. That they were scrimming every day, and the Apes here might have been the least and the most under-scrimmed team together. So honestly, I'm really interested to see if that comes into play here, and we see who really has been playing together, and especially if that scrim time experience is gonna take a toll or give them an advantage. We'll really see.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you see 6-6 at the half, right, it's either going to be a really close game, you know, close to OT, or one team is just going to take it away and kind of run with it on this half. And I really think it's going to start with these pistols, because remember, you win pistol, you should win the next one too, and you can buy up. Both teams really need to win this pistol. They want the advantage coming in early. It looks like a default coming out here from Syntinels.
I'm really intrigued by this float buy here. Oh, we switched it out. Really intrigued by that shotgun buy. But does seem like they're making their way up to B. Krona
Good shot.
finding Chloe on main. Made a very quick rotation there. First contact and they're immediately out of there.
Spike down A.
Swifty seems to be
One enemy remaining.
playing and holding very well. Yeah.
Battle Clove.
battle play,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Oh, what are we? Yo, wait, Phenom. I don't think we were supposed to see that.
Something for us.
Yeah.
But a beautiful pistol round for Planet of the Apes. Flawless. And now they have the weapons, are able to buy up here. Should be another quick round for them, especially defending. It's hard to push sight with just these classics. Especially if you're... We just saw an opping raise. Now we're seeing a raise with an outlaw. Another thing you don't want to peek into. They saw the placement
Ooh,
of the Cypher cam,
managed
but
to take
missed
a
that
lot of
shot.
health. A lot of health low there. Just 6 HP.
You only need 6 HP, you know?
Definitely.
Well, not
It's-
me.
it's-
I
that's
need a lot more.
seriously smoke, you
I'm
know?
sick. Nobody? It's a nice
They know
angle.
their
Doesn't look like
showers.
they can
Yeah,
push.
nobody knows their showers. Very quiet on defense here. Swifty finding 3 on site.
One enemy remaining.
Finding 4 and a nice 4K from Swifty, as you said. A battle clothes, especially on defense. Really, really nice to see.
Clove is such a fun, I think, new addition to the Valorant roster because they're so... They're still a controller, but they're almost like a pseudo-duelist in a way, and you can be very, very aggressive with Clove. Kind of reminds me of, like, OG chamber mains who were like, yeah, we're a sentinel,
Yeah.
but we're a duelist. We're a duelist.
Yeah,
we're gonna
no,
go in and TP you out.
definitely. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. It's just being like, I can hold sight here, but I can also push you, and you better be scared.
Mhm. And I am scared if I'm looking at Swifty 19, 9, and 9 assists. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely scared of Swifty right now, but finally, weapons in the hands of
Yeah.
Syntinels once again.
And
Just
Apes
playing this a
know
little
that they
bit
were
slow.
long. We saw that early flash from Gale. Flashing them long, so they know there's at least somebody long there. They seem to be playing this quiet.
Gonna start inching their way up. Have to shift walk, they hear. That utility. Oh.
Mew gets caught. Quite a few trades going on here. Synthic's taking out Hunter. Still lurking, knowing that nobody's right here. With the spike down in a 2v2.
Last player standing.
Make that a
Nobody finds
1v2.
Synthix. Yeah, make that a 1v2. Never mind, make that a 2v1, I guess. Is Ape really Ape that side that time. Nobody finding a couple picks that really helped them.
Yeah.
You know, take that site back again.
Yeah,
It
and
all fell
that's
apart so quickly. It's pretty hard to see, but I think a lot of that
Yeah.
was just trades, and we saw a couple
Mhm.
people getting caught with util out. It just didn't seem as together as we would have hoped.
No, I mean, I definitely think, and this is similar to what we saw last half too, is playing into the Apes just kind of didn't take maybe quite as much time getting into the next half, whereas I think what we saw at the beginning of the game is it took Syntinels a little bit more time to get comfortable with the half and how they were going to play it and then warm up. So I definitely think there's still time on the board for them to come back and bring it back up. But yeah, I mean, playing into the Apes just kind of showing us
They found my wire.
a little bit of a masterclass at the beginning of these halves. And yeah, I do think that's going to be tough for Syntinels to play against, but especially now, not quite the weapons in hand they might want, but some good shots. We've seen beautiful shots with the Sheriff. They can do it again. But it's also hard to push onto these sites, right? A double Sentinel means that you can have utility on both sites when you're defending. You have that Deadlock util, you have that Cypher util, and that's really hard.
Definitely. And they're still sticking to this A push. Chloe making herself a little bit more known B. Which can be really beneficial if it's giving a little bit of a fake, but as I say, they're getting picked off there. Swifty, Hunter making that rotation around to A as they get spike down.
30 seconds left.
Syntinels getting a really great push there, just 3 HP.
Ultimate is ready.
A great pick from Heaven.
And good ultimate coming out too, but when you only have 3 HP, it's hard to land a shot, and when the weapons aren't quite in your favor, it makes it a little bit easier for the diffusers the defenders to get this diffuse off and get those shots down. Good use of that ultimate, but ultimately, don't have the weapons to back it up.
Ultimately, the weapons are really what comes into play. You know, obviously, when you have three sheriffs like that against a full team of rifles, you've really got to be accurate, and just missing one shot there is going to risk you the whole round, just like we saw. But still a really, really great effort there. Just not quite what they wanted.
Well, that's okay now. They're able to buy again, but if the Syntinels aren't able to win this one, I think it'll be a little bit tough. The economy might get a little bit too far away from them. They're going to have to be a little bit more calculated this time. Can't afford to lose your buy round here. Economy's not going to be in a good place. Looks like it's going to be a slow push here up B. They know they're going to have to deal with this deadlock utility. Taking their time, clearing out all these early angles. Mew getting ready to smoke offsite, and I think that's when we're going to see the push. It looks like deadlock utility moved outside of hookah instead of right outside of garden.
Default. Krona getting that early pick on slow.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
And Hunter getting
Beautiful.
those 2
Oh my goodness.
there. Such a beautiful play there.
And a beautiful use of utility. I think one thing about Deadlock is we haven't seen her in a lot of team comps, and now teams are slowly starting to rotate her into play. We're seeing that at the pro level. We see that at the T2 level. We're seeing them in scrims and in these little tournaments, but I think it's still hard for teams to play around that because they're not quite used to that yet, right? Unless you're scrimming a team who plays Deadlock and has that experience, you're not going against that. You don't know those setups, and so I think it's really easy for Hunter to kind of set this up in a way that's hard to push, and then you try to go to the other site and nobody's right there, and Phenom, no place is safe for the Syntinels right now, and Planet of the
Oh, we're
Apes
seeing
turned up.
another raise up here. Knowing that they're pushing here, I'm wondering if they're going to rotate knowing that Phenom is there with the op. It's looking like they're thinking about it.
My camera is destroyed.
So
Syntax
hard because
fighting. Yeah, nobody.
neither site is safe. You're gonna have to play together. They don't have the weapons to help. They don't have the numbers to help.
Over there.
No, and I feel
They
like
can
that's
just hope-
such an upside with having
Over there.
double Sentinels. Is you know, with just 2 sites, it's you've got both
Yeah.
sites covered with some sort of utility that's going to give you that early advantage on when the other team's trying to make contact. Hunter
Oh.
and Swifty
Spike
both finding
down
their
B.
picks there. And that push, not really
30
looking
seconds
like it
left.
was exactly how Syntinels wanted to play that out. Getting picked off at windows, another spike is in a very difficult place for Mew to run around and try to pull off here, but you know, they still got a lot of util. But with just 12 seconds,
10 seconds left. Flawless.
not quite finding the kills they wanted there.
Yeah, I mean,
Match point.
it's unfortunate because the first half was so close. I mean, 6-6, it literally cannot get much closer than that. But now, I think Planet of the Apes just really have found a groove that they're sitting into. That double Sentinel is really, really tough for anyone to push into, especially the Sentinels, and you get an early pick. You're down numbers, can't push onto site. That's tough. Great utility coming out from Planet of the Apes. There are 3 ultimates
Good here.
online here for Syntinels. This would be the time to use it. You're facing match point. We're going to see the first one from Gale come out, and of course there's Cat as well.
And I'm just wondering if we're going to see that ult come out from Hunter too with that deadlock ult. That's pretty much a guaranteed kill. If Chloe can just find nobody. There's so much going on. Here we go. As we said, Hunter pulling out that ult, but not quite managing to find
Player
anybody.
standing.
That really was a great round with Invicts, especially when we were just
Yeah.
starting to have our doubts on whether they were going to come back through here. But that push was great, especially with all the utility going around. And obviously, you got that Hunter ult out the way, which was probably quite a big concern for them because, as I said, pretty much guaranteed kill there unless they managed to miss it, which they did. But with only close ult on defense here, Swifty is pulling out the op though, which I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I'm just interested to see how they play this, especially after the last round.
I mean, at the beginning of the buy round, I saw, I think, like 3 ops in the hand. None of the Apes. So I think they were just showing, like, yeah, you can take a round from us, but our economy's looking okay. Chloe gonna find that opening pick with the judge, and now seems like Syntinels finally turned up. It did cost them 3 ults last round that they don't have now, but they have sight. Playing into the Apes, made the wrong call, stacked the wrong site, and now that plant is gonna have no trouble getting down.
That's
And
just
Cat
what
went
happens
into
when
the
you take
pick.
those gambles with what sites they're going. It just allows them to take up space so much faster, which they really did a great job of utilizing right there. With that flash, pushing Hunter to heaven there, and then managing to find them up there. A really great play. Still, just having to defend their site here. 2v1. Excellent comeback. Every second we get to a point where we begin to doubt Syntinels. They just seem to be coming off and playing these really aggressive rounds that seem to work out in their favor, which is a great thing to see.
They're able to do it again. Now only 4 rounds separate the Syntinels from bringing this to OT, but ultimate economy is now favoring playing into the Apes, and we've seen just how strong that Cypher ultimate can be, especially in the hands of nobody. They still have enough economy where they can buy weapons as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure who my money's on, to be honest. Swifty finding Chloe with the judge. I'm not sure if that was a little bit of a... that was a little bit of them getting their own back for the last round.
They found my wire.
They know. They know that Mew is scoured.
Headshot. Cage triggered.
And Synthic's finding Corona
Our spike's
on
down.
site. If they can just get Spike down.
Enemy
And the
remaining.
Razor, the 1v3 Phenom with the 3k. Mew and A by themselves. And with the Cypher ult, it's going to be hard for them to pull off a match point as well.
Well, if there's ever a time to do it, it's got to be now. Mew has a little bit of utility to work with, but just about 30 seconds. Saw
Seen
Hunter's head pop up.
Hunter. Yeah.
30 seconds left.
Holding that angle, but I'm not really sure if they have the time to play this as slow as they want to.
Oh,
There's
they
25
know.
seconds.
They know where Mew is now. Mew's gonna
There's
have to
20
start pushing
seconds
this.
to pull this off. And match point, there's really not much they can lose here.
Yeah, you just gotta. Fortunately, you just gotta push. 10 seconds, not enough time to get everything. Can you find one? No, nobody's gonna close that out, and that's gonna be 13-8 for map 1. Going to Planet of the Apes.
Hi, welcome back everybody. Hope you had a good 5-10 minute, however long break. Longer than that, but it's fine. Hope you got yourself some snacks, some food. We're gonna pretty quickly settle into game 2. The only note that we have is there is a sub for Planet of the Apes at the moment. Swifty's been subbed out for Paneko, so if you see a little bit change, that's why there was some Wi-Fi issues. So that's a new player, so it's like it's a little bit different for game 2 if you do notice that. But other than that, yeah, hand you over to my fellow caster to talk a little bit about the map, and a little bit more details there.
Yeah, so super excited to be here for the Ohgawd Invitational. But yeah, so those of you who missed the first game between Syntinels, Return of the Syntinels, and Planet of the Apes, we had a pretty good first map on Bind, but Planet of the Apes did end up taking it 13-8. So now we're headed over to map 2, which is Abyss, and I think we're ready to head right into Agent Select. So we'll see what these teams have cooking for us.
And on Abyss too, we saw this yesterday with the minion lovers. You know, you never quite know. They have been told they're not allowed to jump off the map for eco purposes. That is a rule, which is quite funny. Thinking about that's something that has to be an actual rule in Valorant. But we did see some
G2 could
funny
never.
plays.
Could never.
We did, yeah. G2 could never. Both of their rosters, because they did that in GC, didn't they as well?
They did.
But we saw some
And
great
you know what?
plays.
They do it again. I do
They
it.
would.
But unfortunately for these teams, they can't. So anyone you see falling off the map, not intentional.
Not intentional, because they are banned from doing it. No, it was Ashcon that fell off the map yesterday from Minion Lovers, who are playing in the Grand Finals later today if you're here. But we do have the agent lock. We're seeing some Sova.
Yeah, let's chat a little bit about these comps, because I think since Abyss is the newest kind of map right now in the rotation, or at least the newest one to come to Valorant, right? And there's not quite that set meta so far yet on Abyss. I think you can play around with a lot of viable agents.
Definitely. And I was saying this a little bit yesterday about Abyss. Both of the sites they don't have the biggest entry. For main, they aren't the biggest sites to get onto. You do have to work a little bit harder, especially on attack. I would say this map is more defense sided. But and we saw this yesterday with defense pulling through a little bit more for Minion Lovers. And here today, with Apes starting on attack again, we've gotta say I'm a little bit curious to see how we fall through after the last game.
Yeah, it looks like, though, taking early mid control here. Something I'm gonna do on a map like Abyss. We heading over here towards this B site. Ooh, nice shots from you. Okay.
A very quick round for defense. That mid push really not pulling off very well for the Apes there, which is a really strong start considering on Bind we didn't see Syntinels have a very strong start on defense. It was actually, I think we got to 3-0 until they started to come through. So maybe it really was just them needing to warm up a little bit to make a return.
Well, and we saw that on Vine. We saw that it did take them a couple rounds to even like get kind of the groove of things. But now that they have a whole map under their belt, might be a little bit easier for them to kind of pick up. But yeah, I mean, if they can keep this up, we might be heading to a game 3 after all.
We might be, which I'd really love to see on that map. But at the moment, it's looking like a committed B push.
I like the use of utility to stall, and it's kind of, well, giving these attackers a little bit of a hard job. Don't have the guns to push through. Don't have the economy to use a lot of utility, and they're playing with rotating over, but since right.
Corona walked straight into Synthic scope there. That was an immediate rotation off. That was a huge scare away. Huge scare away for Apes there. Hunter peeking and getting picked off there. It's really not looking like a very successful B push. They're still committed. Phenom pushing there, and Q taken down by Kate there. Phenom and Q getting picked off. Main wasn't working out going to plan there. Now they've gone B and mid, and been very successfully held off by Synthic's team here, which is honestly great to see considering how we saw the start of last game. But I really am interested to see if we get a third game here.
I mean, I think if they keep playing like this, I know it's early though, right? They won the pistol. They should have won the last one. We'll see. There's still time for Planet of the Apes to pull together. But I mean, yeah, I'm excited because I think we didn't really get to see the full potential of Synthic's Clo with a nice shot.
It's looking like the Outlaws are really becoming a favorable gun. Just use a newer one. I say newer. It's been out for a little bit longer now, but certainly longer than most guns. It's interesting to see it be favored here.
Yeah, I mean, it does a ton of damage. It's a it's a little bit, better than, let's say, the Marshall. Not quite an auto, but it's pretty cheap, all things considered. And these new regen shields, right, are a lot of fun, but they only give you up to 25 HP. So that 140 with an outlaw really does a ton of damage. I mean, that's a kill if you only have that regen shield up.
Spike planted.
Synthic's still sitting here with the outlaw. It's a scary thing to peek there. Looking like a 3v2. Maybe an upside if they can just manage
Ooh.
to hold off. Wow. Just as I said it, they did it exactly what they needed to do. I think that's such a great thing about B is you can just manage to pump for long. You can stall like that, and we saw this yesterday's games too on this map with Claire on main, just being able to play from long there and a main and having the spike down. It's so easy to play off. It's like the equivalent of when you're playing on C on Haven. Just it's really easy to bait and delay on, which makes it so much more difficult to retake.
Well, now we're going to start kind of seeing things play out. Remember last time, 2-1 is like your typical standard how the first couple rounds of Valorant should go, and that's not quite what we were able to see there on Bind. Playing into the Apes, we're just kind of able to take those full buys around, but this time, a little bit more traditional. Synthix, again, still posted up with this outlaw. Waiting to see if someone will peek.
Ooh, a favorable pick. And the pick there off Krona, but leaving Synthix only on 5 HP. For taking out their Sova. And Chloe picking off nobody. They're just getting these really quick and effective picks here. And with Echo left on just very, very low HP, this is looking like a very delicate round for Apes here.
Yeah, I mean, that outlaw is just such a strong weapon. It does so much damage.
So low. It does so much damage. Like, even just the body shot there is leaving them so low.
Down A.
And we're just Phenom. Synthix finishing off with an amazing 3K. The Outlaw really, it's really great to see what guns are getting used more because we really didn't see much of the Outlaw on Bind. And then seeing it a lot more in Abyss. I'm wondering if that's just more of a strategic play or if that's just gun preference here.
I mean,
Definitely
it could be a little bit of both. I mean, so the one thing about that outlaw, right, is it's so cheap, comparatively, for the amount of damage it's doing. And if you can just kind of skate by with that a couple rounds, maybe save for an operator yourself. I mean, I think it's just such a good weapon. If I knew how to use rifles at all,
and we've really got to look out here is the buys. We've got Syntinels with a full Vandal buy and just Cat with a regen shield, and the entirety of Apes with mainly Sheriff's pistols, and Phenom's got one Guardian, but I'm really interested to see if that gun advantage is going to come into play here, or if they can manage to pull this off, because that's going to be really valuable to their economy.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, it's going to be hard for them to push into these sites, especially with these weapons at play. They're going to have to start doing it under a minute left, and haven't made a whole lot of base on this map. Nobody finds a beautiful shot, but that's okay.
Immediately traded off there.
You right there to find that head.
And another one. It's looking like these Sheriffs are becoming a lot more valuable than we thought they were. Now Paneko has that rifle. And they're starting to pick off these guns from the other team.
And they have sight. They were able to recover those weapons. They have numbers. Just waiting for the retake, and look, holding these off angles. Paneko not going to get spotted by that Dizzy, so they're going to push up, but Paneko can't land a shot right now. 3v3 retake still. Huge Astra ult coming out. Cut off some sight lines.
If they can just stick this defuse, which they do, and we're seeing a great lead coming from Syntinels here. Which is, it's such a great ton of events, considering we didn't see a very strong push on defense on bind. We weren't entirely sure how they were going to play out here and if they were going to learn from that. And it really does seem like they've learned their lesson. And as I said, this team is scrimmed together a lot more. And even with that man down advantage, with having to have that sub, I'm wondering if that's really becoming an issue for the other team, how well they're gelling, or if it's really just how they're playing together that's the issue.
Listening.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something to be said for not playing with the same team you've been practicing with this whole time. Though I like Pineko following that drone. Unfortunately, gonna get smoked off here, and a little bit of space is now taken right back.
Another thing to have some attention towards is the amount of ultimates we have on attack. We have a Sova ult, we have Empress, we have Blade Storm, and now we've got that Cypher ult now too, which is, as we saw last game, a really valuable bit of information to have. They can just manage to get that one pick.
Good playoff contact there from Gale, but knows that there's a couple more over there. Rotate's coming over. Here's a first of a couple of ultimates. Chrono looking to find contact with that. Can't quite do that, and all down to Chrono now. 1v4. What do you do in a situation like that? The call to save might just come in. Your economy's not in a great spot. But lots of time left that you have to stay alive, and so many places to look. Clear. Finds one. Knows that there's got to be at least a couple more. Time is ticking. And Mew gonna find Corona. That means that rifle not taken into the next round, and that means 5 now on the board for Synthix. Now, ultimates on both sides. 7 across the board. I would expect to see them being used here, especially if you're on the side of Planet of the Apes. Things not quite looking good for you. Economy not in your favor. Ultimate economy is, but you got to put a couple more rounds on the board here on your attacking half, and they're just having trouble making their way on site. Pineko gonna bring out those knives. But they know the ult's here on site. Chloe, though. Bad timing, not gonna be able to use that op or that ultimate, and things still looking dicey. Huge ultimate here from Gale, and things not looking too good again. All down to nobody. Here's those footsteps from Mew. Finds one, but has to find 3 more. That ultimate coming out, going to find nobody. So although nobody gets the kill, not going to be able to convert the round, and 6 on the board here for Syntinels. It truly is the return of the Syntinels right here. Lots of ultimates invested, though, in that round for the Syntinels. I don't think it matters to them too much. They'll be able to just farm those right back. Up by 5 rounds. That op still in the hands of Chloe. Planet of the Apes have to start turning things around here. They're just really struggling to make their way onto site and to keep site.
Keep up.
And it's hard when you have a team so turned up like the Syntinels.
Definitely.
Gonna have to push together. Nobody's still lurking there in mid on the B site hit. Lots of utility. They finally found their way on to site.
Spike planted.
Oh, and another trade going off right there. Looking like a 2v3
Take flight.
with Phenom left. Only half HP. Immune knows
player
exactly where
standing.
they are. It's this number advantage. Have to wait and see if they can pull off this. Looks like they might be opting for save. Which they have the room to do. That's 6 and 1.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they definitely have the room to not take that 1v3. That might be one of their smarter decisions to go for the op advantage.
Yeah, I definitely think it's smart to just hold on to this weapon here. Definitely have the rounds on the board to be able to do that. It was a good round, though, there by Planet of the Apes. I think they've struggled for quite a while, and that was the kind of first time we've seen that sort of semblance. And they still have 3 ultimates on board if they choose to use them.
Definitely, and it's just we're seeing them get a little bit more aggressive on sites, whether it's just a bit of frustration for being down more or switching up their play style. I'm interested to see if maybe being down a couple rounds is going to motivate them to switch up how they're playing a little bit more.
I know.
We're already seeing that aggressive push on the B site already, taking up the exact amount of space they wanted. And a 4v4.
Oh,
4v3.
Kaneko looking for some shots. Not quite going to find it in that Clove ult coming out, but can't
And
quite.
Syntinels really coming out in defense here.
Throwing net.
Hunter, good
finding
positioning
Syntex.
for
Kona finding Cat.
Player standing. One enemy
all
remaining.
down to Mew here. Finds one now, all down to Krona. Little
just
HP,
that
but it
little
doesn't
HP.
matter. Doesn't matter, you swing, they don't know where you are, and you're going to be able to put that 3rd round on the board for Planet of the Apes.
An awesome play there from you, especially with such low HP. That's one of the riskier decisions you have to make sometimes, especially when you're that low, is whether you just fold it and not let them know that you're low. Can really be effective like that sometimes. Like we just saw, it played out so well for them.
I think if they can put 4 rounds on the board this half, I think they'll have an okay chance moving into the next half. But I think they need at least 8 for.
Nobody not quite finding Clo there. And getting that Cypher pick this early in the round can be really detrimental to your team, because obviously, especially on Abyss, Cypher can serve so much information, especially that early in the round. So getting picked off super early, it just really isn't that helpful for your team, and it can really give that advantage if you do manage to get that early pick.
Well, numbers advantage here for Planet, and they're heading towards this A site. Only Clo is gonna stop and not able to do anything now. Site is free. I don't know if they know that they'll still need to clear. Gale
Spike planted.
gonna come up here in heaven, and Syntax not quite anywhere close. Gale not quite gonna look the right way, so Phenom easily gonna be able to find that, all down to Syntax. 1v4, we've seen him do it, but he's not gonna be able to do it this time. And a 4th there on the board for Planet of the Apes. Could we be looking at another 6-6 half, Rue? What do you think?
I think there's potential, and I mean, as much as I want a game 3, I would still love to see a comeback. That would just be great to see. It's looking like we're having a timeout. Maybe there's some strategy rethinking here coming from Syntinels. I think that's calling that defense timeout. Just a couple rounds left, and I'm interested to see what that's completely about and shift in playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think this is a good time to take that timeout. I think they were looking pretty strong early on in this map, but remember how they let Bind kind of slip away from them, and they don't want to make that mistake here. So being able to kind of like regroup while you notice, hey, Planet of the Apes, you know, they've had a good couple of rounds. They're seeming to find their groove here on Abyss. We don't want to let them get it. We're in the lead. We want to keep the lead, and we'll be switching halves here in a couple rounds. Let's try to get as many on the board this half and then see
Yeah.
what
I'm getting
happens
a bit
when
of
we
deja
move to tag.
vu vibes here. This is looking like a very
Yeah.
similar issue here, but just it seems like the tables are turned.
Here.
It's looking like they're just mainly stacking B, just leaving Clo on A once again, but they may be in their favor.
Nowhere to run.
Oh, Pineko just able to make it out.
Ultimate ready.
Syntax finds one,
Syntax
finds the
getting
other.
those really important picks off there.
Over there.
2 for Syntax.
Over
About to
there.
be a third unless
Potentially 3
Pineko
with
can
this ult.
swing, but Pineko
Spike
decides
down
against
B.
that.
With just
Oh,
nobody in Pineko left. And it's 2v5. Syntax really, really just clutched that side for them there. That aggressive play is exactly what we want sometimes to scare them off, and it's done exactly that. It scared them off the site. I'm interested to see if they can regroup here. Rotate round A, and Close sitting in this corner waiting for them. Push round for this A rotation.
Pretty good positioning, and now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
it's
good
tough. I
position,
mean,
but
what do
yeah,
you do
seconds
if you're
left.
nobody or Pineko? That's
mean,
hard. I
yeah.
think they're just holding, and they want to
This is-
save those rifles, but
Got to be the worst position to have the spike in as well. Pushing through all, you got to push through the entirety of his site and then grab the spike with just 15 seconds. It looks like they might just be going for a save here.
yeah,
10
I mean
seconds
that's tough, and it seems like whatever Return of the Syntinels talked about and their timeout seems to be working. They now know where Pineko is. Doesn't look like they're gonna choose to push that, but yeah, I mean that's pretty good round there from
Last round
Return of the
in half.
Syntinels. Well placed timeout. Definitely seemed to do them favors. And now if you're playing into the Apes, you're thinking, okay, how can we put at least one more round on the board? Because that's not how we wanted that to go.
No, and being down 8-4, definitely a tough one. Tough one to get up. And considering, especially on their defense, dare I say that Planet the Apes don't have the strongest defensive team. They've got Cypher, yes, but with their duelist
yeah.
choices, it's just I'm interested to see if defense is going to be their weaker or their stronger point here.
Yeah, I think what really did them well there on Haven was the Deadlock Cypher that they were running. Syntax. Ooh, missed that op shot, but lots of information given. Knows that there's at least some hanging out here on this site. And now Close able to calm that. Hey, I think this might be a little bit of a default. Playing into the Apes down in numbers. No, there's an op in play. Only have one ultimate to work with, and it's just the Reyna, which can be good if you need to clutch, but doesn't offer much in terms of your team play here. Good positioning by Mew, but just not going to be looking at the right spot at the right time, and Corona going to equalize those numbers just a little bit, but Planet into the Apes still struggling to find their way onto a site, and time is ticking. 30 seconds left, and Chloe finding nobody is going to have Spike once again.
Last player standing.
All down to Hunter. If there's ever a time to pop your ult, it's now. I mean, last round in the half, and
Especially on the last round. I'm
last
surprised you
round,
didn't pop it
but
earlier.
me too. If you're a Reyna, you know, your ability to
10
clutch.
seconds left.
And Reyna's such an effective clutching agent, but time is ticking.
With just 3 seconds, it's not looking like they're gonna get this round.
Yeah, nothing to save here, unfortunately, but Hunter just playing for life there. I think time wasn't quite on their
Switching sides.
side. I didn't hate the call to default, but at some point you have to start pushing onto site. Running out of time, Spike was down, and they just were not in a position to recover that. So, yeah, they are going to switch. I still think playing into the Apes, I think it's doable, but I do think it's going to start here with the pistol rounds. And like you said, I think their defensive comp was a lot stronger when they were running that double Sentinel. But you look at the Reyna, the Clove, the Jet, I think they're a very attack-sided comp, and that didn't come through here on their attacking half.
Definitely. I'll be interested to see how they play this out with this comp, and if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the duelist choices here are going to be really effective for playing defense, but with just having that Cypher info, yeah, you've got that Sova for early intel, but depends how they use him. Just having that Sova when it comes to site defense and utility, it could be pretty difficult for them to hold down this site as well as they need to. And Mew already picking off Hunter, and they know where nobody is.
Spike is planted, and now 3v5 retake. It's so important for them to win these rounds. It starts just like that. Phenom finding one. Still 4 more they have to deal with on site.
It just feels like they took
Beautiful
that fight with
shots.
so much ease,
Holy
and
Phenom.
going off with the sheriff
enemy
drop here.
remaining.
Okay,
Finding
Phenom.
another one.
Okay.
Phenom really showing us a clove masterclass right there. Picking up that sheriff and really just picking them off. It just caught everybody completely off guard. They were swinging everything, and I guess sometimes when you are defense, you do just have to get aggressive, especially on Abyss with how small the site actually is. Outside of Heaven and Long, it's not a massive site, so sometimes you can just swing those small little corners, and that's exactly what we just saw Phenom do.
I mean, but when you think about it, that's the game, though. If you can click heads a little bit better than your opponents, that's all you need. I think, though, as far as the round itself, that looked pretty strong here coming out from Return of the Syntinels. Sometimes you just, you know, you
Gotta
can't
wait and see.
deal with a sheriff in the hands of Phenom. So it definitely was much needed for playing into the Apes, but I wouldn't stress too much here if I'm Return of the Syntinels. It kind of came down to a hero play there. Still up by 3
Exactly.
rounds.
Exactly. Nobody just jiggling around me and him, knowing that close there.
Cage triggered.
But it is just her. And the rest of them are stacking round a main. Hunter with that outlaw. That really is a favored gun in this map.
Okay.
Taking out 2, just as we missed
Nice
it.
collat. Okay.
Taking
Saw
a nice
the
collab.
end
Yeah,
of that, man.
definitely. Taking
Can't
out
line up like
Syntinels
that,
and
yeah.
wow, yeah.
Can't line up like that. Close sees nobody. But that also means nobody sees Clove.
That's a new cipher trip I
30
haven't
seconds
seen
left.
before.
It's effective. I guess you know when they
Blocking sight.
push up that
Takes
way.
out the camera. In turn, getting picked off by Neko. Gale taking out nobody. It's seeing trade by trade by trade, but it's left by a 2x4.
One
The spike
enemy
down and Gale gone. Defense really coming through here.
A little
Maybe
bit
that
of plant
aggression really
money
is all you need.
for the attackers. Yeah. Well, but you know, in Sentinel's defense, right? They didn't have the weapons that Planet had. Now
And
they
that
should be able to.
collab.
That
collab
was
really
such
did
a
come out
good
on the side.
weapon.
That was the
It-
outlaw. It really, really is.
Yeah. I mean, it
Now
doesn't
we're
look like that when I
seeing-
pick it up, but
These gun
But when Hunter
choices,
picks it
we've
up.
got a full buy, or full Vandal, full shield buy, and we're seeing a bit of a mix and match with just Phenom, the only one with a Vandal here, and a mix of Outlaw,
Well-
Guardian, some Spectres. It just
well,
gun
it's
advantage
to be
seems
fair,
to
it's their
be
bonus, right?
switching.
So they're
Mm.
bonusing off of last round's weapons, so to be expected a little bit. But Pineko looking for some shots, able to make it out with a life and nobody. Only was able to bring a sheriff in after falling last round. Found that first shot. Man, if I were these players, I would just buy sheriffs because they're so good at hitting their shots, and it's such a cheap weapon. Mew finds
Mew
2.
finding 2 beautiful shots, taking out nobody, sitting in heaven, and Hunter with this Outlaw again. Still just gotta get that spike down. But with just Chrono and Hunter left on defense.
Spike
Mew on such
planted.
low HP though. They've got that info now. They know a little bit more about where they are and where to be holding. Syntix knows where Hunter is. Nobody finds anything off the blind. Hunter finding.
Oh, just need a
Syntinels with the
classic? Okay.
Missing the Gecko blind, but Chrono knows exactly where Gale is now.
Last player standing.
Attack winning with Cat taking out Hunter and Gale getting that final pick. It's so back and forth, but 9-6. I'm interested to see if we can get a big comeback here from Apes.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the next couple of rounds, when the economy balances out a little, that's when we're gonna start really seeing the effects of all of this. Because again, right, you saw Planet win the pistol, were able to buy up, and couldn't quite win their bonus, where Syntinels could full buy, and so now these are the rounds that are going to start to matter when we talk about the economy build-up. Kaneko playing so aggressively, but can't find any. Gonna get punished for that one.
Yeah, and with the crash ult,
Oh.
finding Hunter back sight, this could be a really,
Oh.
really great push. Phenom using their ult here.
Saved Hunter's life, able to ult
And the
and...
spike down. Syntic really going off.
Okay.
Chloe playing really efficiently off the main here.
Nobody's
I
like,
would
what do I
go-
do? Sees the heads, but can't click them fast enough, and a flawless round coming out from Return of the Syntinels.
Honestly, Synthix and Chloe just playing off of each other like that works so well. Just the trading, the swings, beautiful, beautiful round, and how fast they pushed from the site there was just extremely efficient, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like
Right.
if the Syntinels can keep this up, could be heading to Haven as the decider. Remember, only one of these teams is moving on into the grand finals. They hear that Sova drone, they're going to be able to get out of dodge. Not the best weapons in the hands, but it doesn't matter again when you're either of these teams if you can just hold a sheriff. Nothing found with that ultimate, but still space is created.
There.
And the spike is down. They're really on the clock now. The 4v3. 3v3. Hunter taking out Synthix.
Weapons are able to be recovered. And now they're smoked off. Ultimate's coming out.
Oh.
Hunter so aggressive, looking for this ace. Going to be able
And
to find
Hunter
it.
with the A's.
And Pandeko
Beautiful
gonna get
shot
that
there from
defuse
Hunter.
off.
To clutch the round. A beautiful, beautiful play there from Hunter.
Nice ace, buddy.
That's what's so great about this is everybody's just having fun. It's nobody's getting, nobody's getting salty about it. Everybody's just here enjoying themselves. It's really great to see. I just reminded everybody in chat, it's all for a great cause. Charity, Project Hope,
Exclamation
charity
point,
in chat.
charity.
To have a little look. Huge thank you to everybody here supporting our cause.
Yeah, and of course, definitely couldn't have been put on without Ohgawd Kate and Ohgawd Kate events.
100%.
It's a huge
so
out.
hardworking.
Hunter
hardworking
again.
behind the scenes.
Hunter just got 6 kills in the last minute.
Hunter's just going off at the moment.
Just hunting for
Hunter
those
wants
kills.
this.
Sentinels
10-7,
though.
It's just gonna bring this back.
Sentinels able to make their way on to site, but they're struggling now, down in numbers. It's okay though, Cat gonna at least equalize that. They're looking to get that plant down, and luckily when you have a wingman on your team, you can send them out. Nobody finds one. And with that ultimate, going to be able to find the last 2. So even though plant's down, they know exactly where the remaining attackers are. And once again, gonna smoke that off.
And that smoke there, or that pole, whatever they decide to use there, could be really great. I've seen a lot of these plays from Astra.
Last player standing.
Oh, but you have to deal with Hunter. A huge diffuse coming off, but can't find
Taking out
Cat.
Hunter, and the
Attack-
clutch from Cat.
Okay.
Beautiful play. We're seeing a lot of these players going off individually. Obviously,
Mhm.
Valorant's a great team. You got to know when to play off each other, but seeing these individual players come through themselves 4Ks and aces is really, really great to see, especially in these moments where there's so much pressure to clutch up.
Man, I mean, this is close. Ultimates on each side. We're getting down towards match point. But it could still go either way, the way that they're playing. Remember, in chat, you can definitely be rooting for your favorite team if you do exclamation point. And then your team. Fun little fan chats.
Cute little chants in chat. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Will we see them put them in the bin here? Will teams sit and put them in the bin? As their chant says, will we see them come through?
Or will we nom nom for Team Phenom?
I love that.
Maybe so.
Will they nom nom or will Sin put them in the bin? We gotta see it. 11 to 7. They've just gotta come through, but
You are
we only
divided.
need those 2 rounds. It's a lot more, but it's 6. Has Syntinels seen? No? What is it?
Oh.
I'm all guys sure.
Well, that plant down is going to start the clock here for the defenders. But
Clo-
Chloe, oh,
Getting those
great.
2 picks, clearing out sight. It's exactly what they want.
Great movement here. 2 ultimates here on the side of Planet of the Apes, but not going to find any contact. All down to Hunter, but if there's anyone I want to be put in this situation, it's going to be Hunter looking for the shots.
But with just 6 HP,
If they can find a kill, though,
and he's stuck in this
in that
corner.
Empress.
That's
Time
so
is ticking,
close.
though. I think they just have to
Nice.
save the weapon. No ace this time for Hunter, but at least able to
No
find
ace this
one.
time. It's looking like we really might see Sin put them in the bin. But honestly,
We just might.
with
Match
your
point.
duelist, seeing what we saw there with Chloe, taking that space up immediately, that's the perfect thing. That's exactly what you want to see from your duelist,
Mhm.
pushing on site, taking up those people, those agents sitting in the corners, you know, ratting, waiting to pick you off slowly. Taking them out so early in the round, especially on the site, is just so efficient. Exactly what you want from your duelist.
Man,
One
this is
more
just so
round.
close.
And a mix of guns from defense.
out of my
just as
way.
you say.
Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
A good ult, but Pineko able to make it out with their life here. Dashes back. Chloe, knives in hand. Just looking to see what they can do. A little bit of default just to see where they could make space and find some picks. Couldn't quite do that, but they're going to inch up here on B. And unfortunately, nobody just looking the wrong way. Gonna get shot in the back. Plant down. Sight is free.
Planted.
Numbers in favor here of the Syntinels. On match point. Things are not looking good here for Planet of the Apes, but they still have 3 members. Hunter, one of them, looking for a shot here. Sees Synthix.
The Synthix v Hunter showcase, and they know where each other are. Corona's
You
looking
shot-
like they really want this round. Up and
Shots
happening.
coming out, but they're working against the clock here. Somebody needs
not
to
long
get
left
on
on the
Spike.
But playing here can be so efficient.
Player standing.
I don't know if they're gonna quite get it.
I
We
don't
might
think
be
there's
seeing a
time.
match 3.
Oh,
Attackers win.
Wow, what a game.
like
a
this.
game.
That's gotta feel so bad if you're Planet of the Apes were able to find it, but just didn't have quite enough time, and that means, Rue, that we're going to Haven.
That means we're going to Haven, and I'm really, really excited.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're about to hop into Game 3 with Return of the Sentinels versus, of course, Planet of the Apes. Now, for those of you who missed the first 2 games, well, on Bind, 18 to 18. Oh my goodness, there's not even 18 rounds in this game. What am I saying? 8 to
I mean,
Don't listen
together,
to
I
me.
think it makes sense.
together makes a little bit more than 18, but we're close. 13 to 8 in favor of Planet of the Apes. And then we hopped over to Abyss and, well, different story, 7-13 in favor of the return of the Syntinels, who did return, but can they do it again here? We're going to Haven, Rue.
We are, and I'm really intrigued to see what type of picks we're getting. If we're gonna get some more double senties going, because especially on Haven, it's a very,
Yeah.
very sentinel heavy map. So I'm interested to see if we're gonna get those Cypher picks again, if it's gonna be the same players picking those agents, and it seems like we're gonna find out. It seems like right now is the moment we find out exactly if we're gonna get those sentinel picks and exactly what we want.
We're at least getting a duelist pick. Gale going on to the Yoru. You know what? Yoru is fun. And if you have fun Yoru tech, I'm here for it. Nobody going to match that. And of course, I love
Getting a
good Yoru
fade,
gameplay.
Hunter going for the fade, which I wasn't quite expecting that pick for Haven, especially. You don't see too much fade on Haven, especially
With a Yoru? Like, if
with
you're
a
not doing like
Yoru.
fade raise, I feel like we don't see a lot of fade
Fade Astra
anymore.
Yoru. That's definitely a new combination for me.
Fade
We're seeing a little
Astra.
bit more
Yeah.
uncertainty. Synthix team. A potential Cypher, like I said. Yeah, we can see a definite Cypher coming from Synthix team. This is I'd say, dare I say, a strange combination coming from Apes. But
This
you
is a very
know,
strange combination coming from
maybe
Ape.
I'll eat my words. Maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe this is the way to go.
I
Jet
mean,
from
you know what?
Klo and a Sova. We know Sova's great on Haven, always has been.
Yeah, I feel like Return of the Sentinels kind of playing a little bit more of a standard comp. I'm excited to see what Planet of the Apes has cooking because I think some of the things they did really well just came down to their team comp. I think especially we look at that bind and the double sentinel, but it just was really hard for sentinels to make their way onto
Definitely.
the site here. But yeah, I'm surprised. I I'm surprised. I am
Yeah.
surprised with the fade pick because I feel like we used to see a lot of fade, like fade raise, but I think it's been kind of going more in favor of if you're doing an initiator to see that Sova, a
Especially
breach.
that it's Hunter. Especially that it's
Yeah,
Hunter going for the
especially
fade
that
pick,
it's Hunter.
which we saw in the last game that Hunter was one of those most aggressive players on their team, and seeing the potentially most aggressive duelist switch onto an initiator
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a lesser picked initiator as well. And I feel like you don't see that many aggressive fades, but I mean, you definitely can. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out, seeing one of their most aggressive players on an initiator. And I mean, yeah, Phenom's on ISO as well. So maybe this is
Yeah.
a round and a game. It's gonna be a spectacle. Maybe there's gonna be a lot to watch, or our gut's gonna come into play, and Sin are gonna put them in the bin. It really depends on how this is gonna play out, and if their strange combination is gonna catch them off guard enough that they're a little bit more unexpected.
Well, I definitely think Phenom on that ISO is going to be something that's going to be tough to work against, especially with that double tap. Looks like, though, this is going to be through Garage and Phenom, like we said, already finding two.
Like I said,
In the round.
Phenom on this ISO pick could be a really, really great one for them here. And we've already
think that-
seen Hunter picked off.
Yeah,
Planted.
Spikes down.
Plant is going to go down. And now 3v3 retake.
With the Cloak, Gale, and Mew up still. Clo seems
Oh,
to be
Mew gonna clear
running
that.
around. Mew taking out Krona. Just depends if Gale can make this contact on No, it doesn't quite happen, but Clo gets that trade on Phenom. And one of the potentially weaker players on Clo, that's exactly what we wanted. They just need to get the defuse off, and as we said, that's just how it plays out. Pistol round. We can't really say too much until we get to rifles, can we? But that definitely was
Yeah.
a great taste in our mouths for how aggressive Phenom's going to play on this ISO. And, getting those 3 picks on pistol round is definitely great here. And we're seeing Phenom opt for the Guardian buy. And
Yeah,
considering that was our lost round, it's definitely an interesting buy. But,
Yeah,
if it's going to mean we get some more picks, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, I do think Phenom's going to be one that they need to watch out for, especially on the ISO with the double tap. Yeah, I mean, look, Phenom already 2 away from the ult on a lost pistol. That really came down to Clo with great positioning on that flank. and Phenom was just kind of out in the open. But I think Phenom is really going to be a thorn in the side of the Sentinels, and they're going to have to look out for them. A little bit of a
Definitely.
default coming out.
They're opting for a different strat now. Spike running around for mid, while we're seeing Hunter and nobody running for a main potential push. And Krona still lurking around mid, not entirely sure where they're pushing yet, but Gale getting that first contact on Hunter. That fade up taken out again, and they're down an initiator, and they're not quite on site yet. And that's their only initiator as well. Like, they're only going fade, and she's not exactly the strongest initiator either. That's why it's such a shocking pick to see. Gale making another pick on Krona, but Phenom picking off Gale here. The 3v2. Phenom a little lower in HP, but he does have an ult. Second round.
Yeah, I mean, Phenom already putting in work with that Guardian, definitely showing why
30
it
seconds
elected to purchase that. Not a ton of time, but again, you got 2 weapons already out of the hands of your opponents. Just gonna kind of have to work up here. But Pineko and Phenom together, I mean, I definitely think it's gonna be tough to deal with those two. Time though ticking. Will they
Gotta
be
get
able
the
to do
bomb
it?
down.
That was a good round from Planet of the Apes, though. When you
It was a
consider that,
very good round.
I mean, you invested in that Guardian, but look, I mean, Phenom's still able to purchase a rifle light shield. I mean, definitely a good round because you took 3 weapons out of the hands of your opponent. Now you have the gun advantage, and I really think what it's going to come down to for Return of the Syntinels is how can we punish Phenom, because Phenom is just, I fear, is just going to run it down successfully if they
He
can't
is, but
do it.
he's got to pull it off effectively. It is 2-0.
Yeah.
This is the round that matters for them, especially when it comes to their economy. How they play this round is really going to play out on how the next 2 rounds go, dare I say. And his ult picking off Mew, and Chloe opting for this outlaw play. If they can get this pick on Hunter, which they didn't quite manage to do with the rifle advantage. Phenom
Syntax-
picked off by Synthix, a really, really powerful pick to get off there. I feel like Phenom is the one player
Planted.
that Syntinels really want to be picking off early in the rounds, because he is the one getting those strong entries and picking off those really powerful
Yeah.
players throughout the round.
Last player standing.
Well,
But with
yeah, the
just
problem.
Synthix,
Yeah, the problem with Phenom is that not only is Phenom good at hitting these shots, but Phenom on the ISO has that double tap, which you need to break. And what happens is any sort of advantage you have on Phenom is kind of broken, just by Phenom's like raw ability to just flick and get these shots off. With that double tap that you have to break first, that's really tough to do. I mean, we even saw that in the ult, right? Mew got those
100%.
opening picks on Phenom, but Phenom had the double tap, was safe, and then just cleaned it up. So yeah, definitely need to, at the very least, use maybe utility to break that double tap. But
we've got a lot going on now, as they're making an aggressive push. Apes making aggressive push onto A's site. Chloe making a quick pick on nobody, but immediately getting picked off by Krona, picking off 2, but Mew returning the favor, picking off Phenom, as we said, and Hunter, 2 of their stronger players, with just Pineko left. It's a 3v1 with Mew, Synthix, and Gale, and just Pineko lurking around spawn. See, that just was a complete example of how easy it is for a round to completely fall apart, because their entry was going so well. Like, yeah, so it's getting that final film Pineko, but just right there, Phenom's wall was pushed amazingly down along there and onto site, but just Chloe holding off them in that corner. They immediately got stuck there, and the round just fell apart so easily with Mew getting those picks on Phenom.
yeah, I think a lot of also what Haven comes down to is positioning, and when you choose to rotate, when you choose to hold, what angles you decide to hold, and especially on a 3-site map like Haven. And I think that Sentinel's really doing a good job of kind of controlling that right now. a lot of the success we've seen from playing into the Apes is at least on Abyss, those rounds, and so far here has come down to these hero plays.
Spike down A.
But with Spike down, that's going to be tough to recover.
It's
You have
just
somebody holding
seeming
it.
like there's one too many mistakes going on from attack. And it's the little things. It's just Valorant is a game of little things. Little things make all the difference. And it's the slightest mishap of, you know, an orb missing or a flash missing. It really does fall apart so quickly. But I really think that they, you know, they have a really strong team. Apes is a strong team. They just need to figure out their footing a little bit in this game, and I really do think they can bring this back. They have such great players and strong in their own way. See, right now, this push on the C is just amazing. They've taken the space already. Even though they're down, they're already making an aggressive hold, and that's exactly what you want to see, and you can see from this team, because they are really strong, and we are seeing two really, really strong teams facing off.
Yeah, good use
As
of
I
this
said,
judge
the
here from
little
Gale.
things.
Player standing. One enemy remaining.
Just Syntinels and Neko, and the ult is exactly where he is. Syntinels
Ooh.
clutching the round for Syntinels here. That wasn't a bad round for Apes
No,
there. They got the
it
site.
wasn't.
It was just a really
Okay.
unfortunate 1v1 situation that Neko just
Yeah.
wasn't able to completely finish off there.
Well, also a great use of the ult there from Syntinels, but I kind of want to go back though. I mean, can we just talk about what Planet of the Apes did there though? Huge from nobody, able to come around flank there onto Mew, pick up the spike, rotated over to C, so kind of fake that rotation back when they got the spike. I mean, it had sight wide open. We're able to get on. It came down to a 1v1 there, and Gale with the judge. I mean, just put in a ton of work. But yeah, I mean, that was,
It was
well played by Planet of the Apes.
And it was a great definition of what I was saying about the little things. So that flash from Gale there was the deal breaker there. That flash and that judge peak, immediately two of the strongest players picked off, and that's really the little things that do make or break a push like that.
And then the ultimate on top of that for the 1v1. I mean, yeah, it does come down to utility and how you play.
Yeah, we are seeing an A push here once again, but without Phenom. Picked off pretty early. We have got an Astro ult, which could potentially be in play, but obviously Chloe's got Blade Storm, and we've got a Hunter's Fury too, so there's a lot of things that could be holding them back when it comes to attacking here, and Chloe on the open mid, picking off Panico, and Gale getting the 2k for Hunter and Krona on flank. See, it's just that they're playing so well together. Syntinels really are at the moment really just coming in clutch, playing off each other extremely well. Chloe on mid with the op, Gale lurking around flank. It's really coming together for them, especially on this map. This is why we love Haven. There are so many possibilities. And 5-1 is a great lead to take so early.
Yeah, especially flawlessly. I think that well, really, I mean, I think the Syntinels are really just kind of coming into their own here. I think it's been tougher for Planet into the Apes to kind of work around. I'm expecting things to look a little bit different maybe on their defensive side, but again, you have to have some sort of footing here. Chloe misses an op shot. Gonna let them know that maybe we don't push this.
She knows that Paneco's there, and Gale's got this huge flank, this lurk round back.
Spike planted.
That was a huge
Just
use
like
also
that.
of the ISO ult to clear sight, get sight on, and that plant comes down. Now it's going to be a 4v4 retake, but they're
And we
planted
got the ult
for
from
long.
Gale. That information is just critical. They know where Paneco... Oh, they know where Phenom is, taken out by Cat. Not quite able to pull it off. Hunter coming in clutch. Also traded off a 2v1.
Oh, that was a nice...
A nice clutch
Honestly,
from you
That was a
there.
nice clutch.
That was
Beautiful.
a nice clutch. That's exactly how you got to play it. And although although Gale's ult wasn't exactly how they wanted to pull it off, he, didn't exactly flash out of it. It wasn't played flawlessly. What it did do really effectively was get them information. Like being able to ult like that, especially with Yora, it's one of the best pieces of
Oh, yeah.
util
Oh yeah,
for
so much information given.
As a duelist as well, it's really, really important to have that information. I think that's really what helped them get that pick on Phenom, and I think they really are picking off Phenom early. It's been a couple rounds now.
I mean, you
think they know
have
exactly
to.
who
You have to.
they know exactly who their strongest player is, and a lot of the time it's Kaneko left last, and you know, with the sub, it's definitely difficult. So it's just interesting to see how they're playing out, and Syntinels are really, really playing to their advantages here, and that's exactly what you want to see.
And actually, I mean, I'm so glad you pointed that out because I think that the Planet of the Apes have been doing such a great job getting on site, getting that plant down, holding. And when you look at a 6-1 scoreline, it just looks like Planet are making so many mistakes. But what it really is Syntinels using their utility and setting themselves up in positions where they can have a favorable outcome. This is a little bit tougher though with this Astra ult invested from Planet, but Chloe's gonna make it work.
And Chloe making it work.
Remaining.
An absolute definition of why Jet is Chloe's mojo on that site, really owning it there. And maybe low HP, but she really just took that space on the site, and that's exactly what you want. Mew with the defuse once again. And Syntinels 7-1. I'm hopeful that we get a comeback, but this is looking really, really hopeful for them.
Well, again, I mean,
Well,
they're
it's a
just
change.
looking so strong. I do think that the scoreline, when you look at 7-1, doesn't show just how close some of this has been. I mean, I do think, for what it's worth, Planet of the Apes have been doing a pretty good job reading, rotating, getting onto site, holding. But I think
100%.
I think it's just the Syntinels are just playing cohesively so well and off of each other.
And
so
that dart
well.
from you, they know that they're running up A main again. Just if they can pull this out, they have got. They have got the Oriole out. Interested to see how that information's gonna help them there. Krona getting one, but Chloe shutting them down immediately. Kaneko picking off Chloe and Phenom as well from main. 3v3. For retake here, we might see a round for Apes here.
Yeah, Kat, unfortunately just looking the wrong way. All down here to Gale finds one, but can't find any more, and that's going to be another round on the board for Planet of the Apes. And honestly, I mean, I do think it was due time for a Planet round, especially they invested those ultimates. There weren't really those ultimates on the side of, well, the Syntinels. I think this is a little bit closer than what we're seeing right now with the 7-2. I truly do think, I mean, again, this is all or nothing here. We're on game 3. One team's moving on to grand finals. They're both playing like it. But just the Syntinels have had a little bit of an easier time cleaning up some of these rounds and using their utility together. But
definitely, and it's just, it's so amazing that it is a 7-2 gap, and it's that much of a gap because Apes really, they don't seem like they've fallen apart that much. It's just coming down to the little things that are just losing them those rounds, and I'm hoping that at the moment, and especially now they've got that round win, that's just going to start to get a little bit tighter on their plays and how they play there, because I think that's really all they need here. See, nobody already picking off Mew. That's a really strong start. Synthix making that trade though, and they know they're long. Especially with the fade util. It does seem like Synthix has done a good job of scaring them away, though.
It does, and that's gonna call to rotate, and that's the thing. It's shorter to rotate as an attacker than it is on a defender here on this map of Haven. So if you can make it over fast, but there's still Gale on site they're gonna have to deal with. Only has a judge, though, if they can spot them like that. It's gonna be easier to pick it off, and now all down to Chloe and Synthix.
Hunter's gone.
Hunter. But now they know where Chloe's coming from.
Krona knows where Chloe is. Synthix can just manage to play well paced here from heaven. Unfortunately, that's a pick off. But Synthix fails to get that final kill. Spray transfer they needed. Such a close call. Such a close call. Another round for Apes. Maybe it's looking up. Is it looking up?
I mean, if they keep playing like that, yeah. I definitely think it's looking up. But I think if you're either one of these teams right here, you can't afford to let up for even a moment, because as soon as you get a little too comfortable or too cocky, I think you're going to be punished for it. And that's what happens when you're two good teams. Unfortunately, only one of these can move on.
It's seriously gonna depend. Are we gonna see some nom noms for Theme Nom? Are we gonna see that coming through this round? Because like you said, there's that stronger player that, you know, they're really starting to play off each other really well, holding angles well. And I'm really hoping they tie up this gap a little closer. Syntinels aware of their mid, hitting the second flash, unable to pick off Pinnacle. And that Cypher ult might have really just secured them that round with just Mew and Cat left in a 2v5. Mew picking off Phenom. As we said, it's a great player to get picked off early. Just if they can manage to play this together.
Spike planted.
Curious.
Good dart.
With no. It's another round for Apes. I'm just, as I said, I'm really interested to see if we getting a 7-5 tie up before they switch could be really, really good. That's 100% winnable for Apes. That's 100% a great turnaround and possibility for them to come out on top here.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, and I definitely think this was the time for Syntinels to call this timeout, and it's very similar to what we saw there on Abyss, right? Like, Syntinels having a pretty easy time working with everything, and then all of a sudden, right, you have these teams, and like, well, I mean, here it's the planet of the apes, but they start to kind of figure things out, and so you kind of have to take this break and say, okay, what do we need to fix? Last time they took a timeout, it worked for them.
Definitely. Yeah, and as you said, we saw this last game, and as soon as after this timeout, they really came through and switched up how they were playing. So I'm interested to see if we're gonna have an 8-4 switch or if we're gonna have a 7-5 switch. So, I mean, it's about to start, so honestly, about to find out exactly where they're playing, and it's looking like Apes are going for that A push again, and you know, Syntinels are pretty spaced out. It looks like they're playing across a couple maps, but I'm interested to see if they're just going to be hot on communication and get some fast rotations on or not. But seeing that possibility of an Astral Lurk round C long, Syntinels is there, ready to catch them off, and an early pick off with
ultimate.
the Hunt Fury on Hunter. A huge ult, and they've got that information too, and they're already making that super fast rotation around A, and they don't have the spike.
Yeah, but they can easily just pop back and get it. They have control at least of that area. Just looks like trying to see where else they can find a pick. And suddenly, just like that, Planet of the Apes able to not only equalize, but find a man advantage, numbers advantage, and that's going to be Spike picked up. And they kind of have their pick. Someone on each site. Where are they going to go?
I mean,
Plenty of time to work with.
Still got some strong players on Syntinels though. There's still a very good chance and a very high capability of challenging Phenom on these Apes team as a player. Will Apes ape this round?
Well,
Gale taking out Chrono. It's already a 3v3. But Gale's looking a little bit low on HP. Unable to contact that Ray, but they know exactly where they are. Just Syntinels and Gale left to win this.
Wow, beautiful shot from nobody.
A great shot from nobody for the 4K on Gale and Syntinels. Wow.
Sides.
Really, really great to see. I really am curious what they were saying in those. Maybe that's a question for after intros. I'm really curious to see what they were talking about in that timeout and how they were strategizing there, because I'm wondering how it makes them feel that, you know, that round didn't play out exactly how they wanted it to. But Apes really, really did play to the advantage there, and especially, you know, nobody taking that risk on those peaks there Some immaculate shots to finish off the round was just beautifully played.
Yeah, definitely love to see it if you're Planet of the Apes fan, and I think if they're able to win pistol, well, we might be looking at another tied game. Could be easy. I mean, 7-5 isn't a terrible score line. Nobody not
And
able to get out of there, though. Ooh.
But Chloe and Synthix already in garage. Pineko and Phenom are a little bit aware that they might be going this way. They're already making that rotation round A. I think they know that they're aware, interested to see, and they might be making a quiet push round A. Not much info for Apes about what's going on here.
No, but they know that they haven't pushed yet. Have a pretty good setup. Since sometimes no info is the best info, and they know with the time ticking, they're going to start pushing their way up.
The haunt being destroyed might have let them know there's somebody along.
Well, they hear those footsteps, at least Chrono waiting for them
Definitely,
to
and we've
push
got
on.
some util going out now as they're making a push. It's just if they can make effect of it.
Ooh.
Synthix getting that pick on Corona,
Last player standing.
taking out Phenom and Hunter. It's
30
just
seconds
Pineko left to clutch up pistol round.
Here.
Really, really was a great definition of how quickly it can fall apart. As soon as that util went up, the smokes went up, it all just came crumbling down for Apes. Chloe holding nice and tight. She could just get this pick here. Pineko manages to pick her off. Can just get this pick on Gale. Only on 20 HP. But no, not quite how they wanted pistol round to pan out. Maybe Syntinels really do come into their own here on attack. Excited to see how we go for the second round. With a couple Spectre and Guardian buys. Synthix seems like they're going with a classic, which, I mean, it's not bad with the nerfs. It's definitely a great gun to be playing with at the moment, but a bit of mixed eco going on. But we've seen Phenom with a Sheriff. We know. We've seen what Phenom can do with a Sheriff, and we know that that's still an agent and a gun to fear. There's definitely no doubts there on what can happen. Making a quick push for flank, it's looking like. They're immediately on the tail. That does leave site completely free. It seems like they've completely given up A site, and this is going to be a free plant for them. But they are on flank. Synthix
Spike planted.
dies, but they do have that info that they are on their flank. Clone knows, picking off Phenom beautifully for a 4v4. And they know where Gale is. Nobody can just... Doesn't manage, and Gale manages to get those two with the Spectre on
Last player
flank.
standing. I'll find you.
With just Hunter left on defense. With a Sheriff.
Yeah, I think if you're
And not
Hunter,
much
you're looking
time.
for exits, and then you need to die for economy. Unfortunately, now they wanted things to go, but I think you had to kind of make that call to stack a site. You don't have the weapons. You have to be aggressive when you're, you know, rocking Sheriffs like that.
Definitely. I was surprised to see that they completely gave them sight there. I was surprised to see them all stack for that flank and completely give them free sight A. That's definitely not something I expected to see, especially when they're down a few rounds like this and they really needed to get up.
Heading to the above.
It's looking like we've got some mixed rifle buys on both teams. A couple more
Spike
on
down mid.
just Pineko with a Guardian for Apes.
Cutting through.
And already Mew down. Very staggered push with Pineko on the spike, looking like they're going to push
Here.
Garage. Oh, Pineko's
Pineko
away from
looks
Ziggs.
ready for that push.
Yeah.
Pineko's just
Synthix
waiting
plays
for
this
someone to come
corner
out.
right
Definitely.
there, unable to make
Spike
contact.
down mid.
And Pineko
Pineko
has the
saw that.
spike. If Cat can just rotate round spike here. Clo can get one pick off site here. It's going to be really valuable to them.
Yeah, nobody's gonna
Peak advantage
spot out
there for
Clo.
nobody on Clo,
Well,
unfortunately.
I think nobody saw just kind of like the edges of Clo before peeking too. So was able to kind of provide that a little bit, but they're gonna make their way on site.
It's looking like a
They
2v5.
know,
This
though.
could be a really rough decision.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best of decisions for Gale to try and one-man swing that, but you know, play comes to play. It was a 2v5, a really rough situation to be in, and Apes take that round. I'm interested to see if defense really is going to be their stronger side, because obviously attack wasn't looking great for them and was looking a little bit rougher, but maybe defense is going to be their side, how they're going to get up a little bit more on the points. Because, you know, Pineco's got a great setup garage. You know, Astra's great on Haven. So I'd really, really love to see some plays from those two.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. It's looking like we've got some pretty heavy rifle buys with just Gale for the judge. I'm Phenom with light shields. This could really be a round that's gonna change it all.
Well, looks like going to be an A hit. And Hunter showing why, maybe. Fade was the initiator to go, but Clo gonna find Hunter's head first. It's an easier time to get on A, but look how fast this rotation came over here from Planet of the Apes. They're all here. Good ultimate looking for info. Corona
Seems
finds
like it's going
one.
down. And
And that's
Syntinels
it.
just managed to clean that side up. It just wasn't lining up. Wasn't lining up for the Apes there. The Apes got apes. Really, really did. Clo cleaned up. Everybody was swinging off each other, and me with the defuse really, really fell into place.
Yeah, that was probably a rough one for Planet of the Apes. They are able to buy again here, but if they lose this next one,
Gonna be really unfortunate.
that's gonna
for
be
them and
tough.
their economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their economy's not gonna be in a great place. Syntinels will be so close here to match point, and yeah, they really can't afford to miss any other ones.
They found my wire.
Looking like got a pretty lit up attack at the moment. Some lurking long with Synthic getting tapped through his own cage at mid. Clo peeking off, trying to see if she can get that trade. But with nobody running around to grab the spike and whoa. Round main. Might see some more contact. If Gale and Clo can just play this together, and Hunter getting one tag. You know Hunter can aim, but not quite able to pull it off. Cat
30 seconds
taking him out. Clo getting another pick on Krona. It's a 3v2
left. Planted.
with just nobody in Phenom left, but we know not to doubt Phenom.
Player standing.
Yeah,
Just
if
Phenom
there's
left to win that 1v3. But if there's one to win it,
not this time.
unfortunate. Cast is cursed. You know what they say. Unfortunate. 11-6. It is getting to a little bit of a tighter score. It's gonna definitely make it a little bit more difficult. Definitely a great time for Phenom to call that timeout for Planet of the Apes there.
Yeah, they
What are you
definitely.
thinking of the game so far?
I mean, I still think that Planet of the Apes is a very strong team. I think they've just kind of struggled finding some of their footing here. But I mean, there's still time. It's going to be really tough. They really can't afford to make any mistakes, and you have to wonder, could it be coming down to maybe a difference in peripherals because thanks to our sponsor, Gamer Advantage, well, you could just be looking at glasses. Gamer Advantage glasses are just built better. The frames are flexible, so they're more comfortable under a headset for hours on end. The lenses aren't yellow, so you'll experience your games in full color. And plus, they're the only glasses clinically proven to help you sleep better and literally increase natural melatonin production in your body. So maybe consider getting a pair right now if you're
Definitely.
Planet of the Apes.
And we're back into the round. It's looking like we've got a bit more of a heavier stack on A
There. There.
with... Yeah, I'm interested to see how this all plays out. Bo taking an early peek on mid and nobody walking up.
Oh, nice
Bo
shot.
getting
Can't
that
get out
early
in time.
pick. That's just one of the downsides with making a push like that with yours. It just takes a little bit longer to get out of there, and sometimes if you're unable to do that, you just can't pull it off like that. And that early pick. Obviously, both the Yoru's gone, Gale and nobody down.
Great
And Chloe knows there's
ultimate
two
coming out.
down there.
Yeah, but now they know exactly where Chloe and the rest of her team are. Great use of that ultimate. But still, weapons not quite in their favor. And unfortunately, for Planet of the Apes, Syntinels hadn't quite made their push just quite yet. Phenom looking for one, but Chloe's right there. Now
great
it's
pick
equalized
there.
and they have sight, but Bomb isn't quite up
Don't
yet.
peek Chloe, okay? She's scary.
Don't peek Chloe.
Don't peek Chloe, she's scary. And with the ultimate, we could really see a great pick off here. And they're
30
already
seconds
on
left.
site. It's a 3v2 of Hunter and Krona can manage to get some sort of retake. And we know Hunter's an aimer. We know after seeing last round, even with the
Yeah.
fake pick, they can be an aggressive player.
But
Especially with
unfortunately,
that
only a
ace we saw.
judge. Only a judge in
is true.
hand. Looking for
But who
one.
knows?
They're not gonna push up. They know the weapon in hand isn't one to do a whole lot of damage, but Krona able to make their way all the way up site is just gonna try to hold
They've
it
gotta
and
push
hope.
up.
Standing.
Are they gonna
They're
get this
just gonna
defuse?
hope. It's so close. Oh, not
No,
quite gonna get it.
Such a close call, but Chloe pulls off the clutch. That so
Match
nearly
point.
worked out in their favor, leading it to a match point, 12-6. It looks like they're
Man.
making that buy. Planet of the Apes. This is really where it really matters how they play here. Synthix opting for the alt buy on Cypher, and I'm wondering how they're going to play this, and if they are going to switch up how they're playing, considering it's match point. But we've got a lot of ults on attack here. We've got a Blade Storm, and a Hunter's Fury, and we've got that Clove pipe. And that
Yeah,
really is more effective.
I mean, it's really gonna be tough here for Planet of the Apes, especially after that. That ult's gonna come back out. But
We've
yeah,
already
I mean,
got it, yeah.
they did a good job last round, but didn't quite have the weapons to work with anything. And unfortunately, now they have to win 6 in a row, and that's tough when you're in a 3v5
But they can just pick
now.
off Cat here.
I know exactly.
Ooh.
No distraction.
This ultimate's
Just
huge,
Chloe and
but
Mew.
Mew is
potentially
watching.
meeting Hunter. Doesn't quite manage to pick them off, but Chloe's ready. Chloe's ready for Phenom and Hunter around this corner. And with the ult, but unable to quite catch them,
One enemy remaining.
picking off Chrono, it's just
Good
left
trades.
up to Synthix.
Oh, but Hunter
Synthix
not
makes
looking the right way.
absolute clutch. Synthix taking the win. Taking the absolute win the whole game. 2 games in a row, and they really came back, and it's honestly really, really great to see them come back this strong, considering that first game loss. But that is a huge win for Town of the Syntinels, which pretty sure sends them on forward.